you guys. This is Save Time with Tori, and I'm back with another video. I'm in the Walmart parking lot as usual, and if you guys have noticed already, I dropped a video earlier today, so this will be my second video for today. But this video is gonna have obviously a different topic. In this particular video, we're gonna talk about. I'm probably gonna name it. Well, it's gonna be basically. I'm probably gonna name it tit for tat. And what I mean by that is that exactly pretty much how it sounds, tit for tat. Like you're like they do this, so you do that. They're not behaving, so now you're gonna like do this get back situation type stuff. And we all know that like there's gonna be a winner and there's gonna be a loser. And a lot of times the women are the losers. So like you might think you Billy Badass, what they say, you think you Billy Badass until you meet Billy Badass. So like you might think, you can take it or whatever, but it doesn't quite work the same. Like men are just slightly better at playing that game. So like don't even like, because men are wired to, they're not emotional creatures, which I've said in plenty of my other videos. So like while you think you're doing your big one and shit like that, you're really not. You're gonna get your feelings hurt. But you can't compete with a man when it comes to things like that, because a lot of times you're gonna end up on the losing side of the spectrum. But anyway, the video is called tit for tat. Men are better, than women at suppressing their feelings. They might be heartbroken too. They might be, like feeling some type of way or whatever. This can go for like a breakup. This can go for like if you're still in a relationship and they're not like doing the things you want them to do, or maybe they cheated on you. Now you're trying to cheat back, or maybe they, did this, or now you're gonna go out all night with your girls and don't answer your phone. Like tit for tat. Basically, that's what I'm going with this. Whether you're in a relationship or the relationship is over, either one. But anyway, men are better at suppressing their feelings. They can be like raging, boiling mad inside, but you're barely gonna be able to tell. You might be able to tell a little bit, but like they might like you might see about 3 or 4% of that when it's actually like 8 or 9 or on a 10. Like you're not gonna see it. So you might be like, oh look, he look a little pressed, whatever, but he might be. But like who's to say? So like women are emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of lash out when shit ain't adding up. Women like to argue and nag and be violent sometimes, start hitting on their man, and like it's just like men are just better at playing the game. And what I'm saying, you don't get your feelings hurt like, oh, he cheated on me, so now I'm gonna go sleep with his best friend. Oh yeah, he might be a little butthurt or whatever, but and then when he go around and spin the block and sleep with your mama, now the camera didn't freeze. Then he go and sleep with your mama, or what I'm saying, get your mama pregnant, or some bullshit like that. Now you looking real, like you can't do it. Like they gonna always one up you. I mean, not always, but I'm pretty sure you've been in a situation where you've tried to hurt a man and it blew up in your face. Most of the time, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. So stop playing the game that you're probably not gonna win, because you might do this, to piss him off, and then he turn around and call you a bitch or something. Now, oh my god, now you all in your feet. Now you cussing like a sailor. You calling him little dick and all types of other stuff. Now he triggered you. Now he know you in your feelings type shit. So basically you just lost. You thought you was like I said, doing your big one, and now he done clap back and shit like that, and now you looking stupid. So if you can't take the heat, stay out the kitchen. But and then he probably has moved on. Like like if you broke up with him and you're like just I guess on the ground, or any social media really, trying to flex and shit and thinking, oh, he gonna miss me. Oh, let me put on a a tight dress or something and make him regret. Sometimes they really have moved on. They might be tired of the bullshit. They might be tired of, arguing every day. And, they just over the drama. So, when it's over. And you're still on here trying to prove to him and whoever else that, like you're living your best life and you don't care and things like that. And, oh, he'll come back. And then when he doesn't come back, and then now you're looking, now you got the Scooby Doo phase. Woo! Like you did all that for nothing. So, if he might have moved on, he might not even be trying to get you back. He might be on social media, tagging this other girl as his girlfriend. This shit might be for real. She might have been like the runner up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have been the first choice, or maybe you just got lucky and got him first. I don't motherfucking know, but to be honest with you, men always keep, some bitches in the chamber. That's why a lot of them don't want to tag you on damn Facebook because they want to keep that option open just in case, just in case. And I think I got a video about that too. I think I was in my house sitting on my couch or whatever, but yeah, I got a video about that too. But anyway, like she might have already been in the arsenal, and he might not, he might have just for the first time decided to try it out, or she could be an ex that he want to spend the block to because he might have fucked up the first time, or maybe it never got off the ground, or I don't motherfucking know. Old supply, what I'm saying, might come back in the picture, and he might decide that that's where he wants to be. And meanwhile, you're over here turning all these tricks like a circus poodle, trying to make him, regret his decision, and he doesn't really care. So all this tit for tat and revenge stuff, it doesn't always work. And then, the tactics that you're using make you look desperate and hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like you go and start posting your new man and all the things he bought you, my man, my man, my man. Like you start like doing the most. That screams desperate and hurt. That screams like you're trying to get his attention. That screams you're still hurt about the situation. That screams, you know what I'm saying? Like just desperation. Period. Like a man can tell when you doing too much and when you're trying to get his attention and when you're like overly flamboyant and things like that. So, if you're trying to heal and things like that, or if you don't really want him to know how how the breakup is affecting you, I wouldn't be like doing like the most, like don't start posting your new man, even if you got one. Like, don't start posting your new man. Don't start talking about a new man. Don't start, posting like provocative pictures. Just like it ain't it. And then four, you're wasting your time because like I said, it's not becoming of you. Like it doesn't make him want to come back to you by you doing all this stuff. It just kind of makes him think, I dodged a bullet. You know what I'm saying? Like she's way too chaotic. She's way too emotional. Like she's mentally unstable because she's like on the internet, like just doing just crazy nonsense. Like I don't, maybe it was a good idea for me to leave her type stuff, and not to mention, if you're on there posting your new man and stuff, like he's thinking, he done ran his the eggplant up in her vajayjay. I don't want that no more. Like she's tainted. She's used me. She used to be a snack. Now she's a damn pass around. Like everybody done had a sample, type shit. So now he's, mentally thinking about how this man is, bending you over every night, and now he's disgusted, and now, he really, kind of lost whatever desire, if he had any at all. He done lost desire to even try to, resurrect, whatever the fuck y'all had, because, you on there, doing the most and shit like that. And it's not gonna bring him back any faster. Like he'll come when he wants to come. Like when he's ready for you, he'll show up. Sometimes men need a little time to reflect and think about how they fucked up and how the relationship went wrong and how woo 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 woo. So give a man time and space. That don't mean you start doing the most while he's trying to figure this out. Because if you're doing the most while he's trying to figure it out, he might make a decision not to come back, depending on what the hell you doing out here. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can like insinuate that you may or may not be dating. That actually does help a little bit. You don't want him to think you're at home just sad and crying and eating ice cream and Oreos. But you also don't want him to think that you out here popping pussy and things like that. So like, just keep it cool. And if he wants to come back, he'll come back. And depending on what he did, I wouldn't even take him back. But you know what I'm saying? Like, just give a man a little time and space to, figure out what he wants to do and things like that. And then if he wants to spin the block, and if you decide to, whatever, then I guess. But we're not talking about doing this shit 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row. Like, you get, well, actually, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you get one more chance to get it right, depending on what you did, like I said. And then if shit ain't adding up, like, it's over. Like, ain't no coming back. Like, keep going forward, shit like that. But once he realized he fucked up, if it's his fault, it could be your fault. No, the camera didn't freeze. If it's his fault, he'll know, and he'll, eventually make his way back around. That's if he ain't found something better or less stressful. But yeah, that's my take on tit for tat. You can't play these games with a man because they don't have the heart like women do. Like they're not emotional. They're logical. Like they're not gonna hold back. Like when you piss them off, they're gonna call you all types of bitches and hoes, and they're gonna like basically have you balling up, crawling, in a damn corner somewhere and sliding down the wall. Hold up, you guys, my message and shit. They're gonna have you sliding down the wall and shit with the shit that they do. You can't top what they do, so don't even try it. So I guess um, just let the shit go. Like, stop trying to even the score. Like, that's not gonna help anything. Matter of fact, just gonna bring more karma on you because you out here, doing like ungodly things and stuff like that. So the relationship didn't work. It just didn't work. He might have got one off on you, one up you. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, if you don't want him no more, or if you don't care about him no more, then why the fuck are you still like thinking of revenge plans and think? Obviously you still care, because if you don't care, oh well, he cheated with such and such. I mean, that's what he want. Oh well, bye. Let me go find somebody too. Instead of, oh, let me get my notebook and plan out my revenge. Okay, first I'm finna go on goddamn Facebook and bend over for the camera. Second of all, I'm gonna, post my new man, but I'm gonna blank out his face a little bit. Third of all, I'm finna, like, no, too much going on, too much energy and time invested. That kind of means you're still emotionally invested in this situation. You might say you're not, but you are, because if you have to take the time to do all of that, then you must care to some degree. Because if you don't care, you're not gonna like bother. You're just gonna cut the person out of your life and keep moving. But anyway, that's my video for today. Just don't do it, because like I said, men are like professionals that hurt your damn feelings, and if you can't take it, then don't dish it out. But anyway, this is Save Time with Tori, and I do what? I save you time from the bullshit. Okay, bye.